here I am presenting another original essay, and I just wanted to present this and find out what reader feedback is into as regarding to things that I could improve upon or do differently. And this essay is a personal statement that I presented when I was applying for a PhD in counseling psychology at the University of Nebraska in 2010. And I wasn't admitted to the program, but I was one of like 15 or 20 finalists for the PhD program, and was sort of like an alternate placed on the list. And they sort of narrowed it down to like somewhere between 3 and 5 people that they ended up choosing for the program, and then they put like 10 or 15 people on an alternate list in case some of the other people decide to go somewhere else. So that's where I ended up, and I just wanted to know if I read my statement, if viewers or subscribers had any comments, ideas, or opinions on how I could improve my essay or personal statement if I ever decide to pursue a PhD at another time. Okay, well here goes. My personal statement on pursuing the PhD in counseling psychology at University of Nebraska. This is new territory for me, exploring and explaining why I believe that the PhD in counseling psychology is the appropriate field of study for my collective efforts over the next 5 years, beginning in fall 2011 and going to May of 2016. It starts with the idea of proving my worth and includes my perception that the Asian/Hispanic man needs a noteworthy job title and position to feel secure in today's modern society of economic uncertainty and high unemployment. In Maryland, Caucasian and African American middle-class women hold many what I would call the lion's share of white-collar occupations, including secretary, store manager, real estate agent, nurse, teacher, accountant, legal assistant, social worker, and certain jobs in law enforcement. And in a similar way, the Caucasian and African American males hold many of the labor jobs: military personnel, police officer, firefighter, machinist, electrician, plumber, construction worker, automobile mechanic, paramedic, and truck driver, to name a few. So as an Asian American, I feel like society has sort of left me out of the employment picture, and in this structure of American society, I'm sort of left with applying for jobs or pursuing training options where I spend a lot of money on student loans and so on to train to be a scientist in a laboratory, a medical doctor, or a college professor working toward a PhD, all in a very competitive environment for gaining acceptance and then eventually working. So outside of this option, other work options that have been available to me for the past 20 years have been in retail or food service, and I've done this for 20 years now, and I can't say that I have any regrets, but I never advanced far up in the supervisory or management levels and was mostly a cashier or clerical worker, and it didn't really offer me satisfactory options for social dating, raising a family, or getting affordable health care. So I am applying for the PhD with the feeling that my efforts in the labor force have been somewhat underappreciated. And at the same time, I've submitted hundreds of applications to state and federal agencies, as an trying to get a job in the meantime while I was pursuing graduate studies, and appropriate job titles have been school counselor, resource analyst, administrative assistant for disability or health claims, social scientist, office assistant, and network administrator in an academic center. And I've applied for these jobs, but many of them have gone to female applicants with less impressive educational credentials and experience, but what I would say is more impressive typing and shorthand office type skills. So I thought about it and decided to apply for the PhD in psychology as a way to, so to speak, turn my life around in a better direction. And my hope is that this form of education would solve some of the problems that I've had finding steady employment in the workplace, and I felt that an extra degree and title might give me some social status and prestige and help me turn the corner and succeed in life as I'm now getting in age into my 40s, 40 plus year old range. Looking back at my undergraduate academic preparation, I felt like it's pretty sound. I have fairly high GRE scores. I scored in the 700 plus range and on the math section, and got around the 500 to 600 range on the verbal, and had definitely an above average analytical writing score when I took the exam. So that's nothing to be ashamed of. And for educational backgrounds, I have a teacher education degree with an AA degree and summa cum laude honors, a BA in psychology from Washington University, St. Louis, a BS degree in history from Towson University, membership in the History Honor Society Phi Alpha Theta, the Psychology Honor Society at Washington University, Psi Chi, and I also have a Master of Science in Applied Psychology with a counseling major from the University of Baltimore. And while studying my undergraduate and graduate education, I've had instruction from some of the best faculty in the world who trained at very prestigious places such as Harvard University, Johns Hopkins, Yale, Stanford, MIT, and University of Michigan. So the next question is, what are my goals and how would I reach them? And one of my goals as a counseling psychologist would be to investigate and solve problems that are essential questions of modern man, and some of these might be healthcare and education, and how does it apply to children? Are there particular needs and attributes which help adults function in the roles involving parenting? Is age an aid or hindrance to learning? What do I perceive as needs for social programs, and what can be done to help a patient reach a satisfactory outcome? Is there a perceptible difference between welfare and healthcare subsidies? And then my final issue on diversity is where have Asians and Latin American people succeeded and failed, and when have these groups faced failure and difficulty in adjusting to norms in America? And then following this up would be questions about legal precedents for student achievement. Are there cultural expectations, and when you say that there are a set of personal beliefs and values that interfere with gaining knowledge in the science and arts for people from an Asian or Hispanic background? So I thought these would be areas that I would look at as a graduate student, and I might work toward discussing or addressing classroom problems in community health as a graduate assistant, and looking at objectives on practical application for student-based learning. My past background would suggest that areas relevant to student learning and psychology practice could include the benefits and drawbacks of statistical averaging, practical solutions as a lecturer for increasing motivation of students to work and respond to lesson material, and then another objective might be how you get students to work through problems and homework in the classroom when there are rare instances of parental and social adjustment when students perceive themselves as failures. So, in summary, I thought that from a graduate student aspect, I thought that I might develop standards for learning and instructional activities, encouraging the study of science and allowing students to obtain new knowledge and put this in a framework which they think is helpful and meaningful to their learning experience. I am aware that educational institutions have limitations on their use and allocation of space and resources, so I thought that maybe it would be necessary to incorporate technology and web-based learning and computer applications and come up with some individualized student writing and forms of feedback to improve success. So that's it. Those are my ideas, and I wanted to find out whether people like them, what they thought about them, and so on. Thank you.